Hey friends, this is Grace and welcome to my channel, and we are going to dive into card number 6. So with this one, I wanted to just use leftovers. If you remember, I think it was card number 2, I used this beige paper that I had put the pink glimmer mist on with the stencil, and I just used half of that and cut it in the diagonal, and so I have this leftover piece. I also have some of the pattern paper and just leftovers, so I'm combining those two. I also have some cut apart hearts that I used for a few other cards, and I'm gonna use 2 of those here in this particular card, plus maybe or not maybe, plus some sentiments, and then also finish it off with some more paint. So I'm going to tell you right now that I am going to apologize because most of these cards in this batch, I somehow did not finish filming the process. So I'm going to try to explain what I did as I go through. I also pre-stamped and heat embossed sentiments already, so they're ready to go. And so with this one, I am picking the one that says "My heart is wherever you are," and I thought that that would be perfect for those 2 hearts that I have here in this particular, or the heart elements that I chose for this particular card. I'm using my T-square ruler because I am noticing that I don't make them straight. So I'm going to use that, especially because the papers are kind of freestanding and they're kind of floating on the background. So I had to make sure that they are somewhat straight. I'm going to put 3 dots on the top and then 3 dots on the bottom. I'm really liking this paint because it's so easy to add to elements. So that will be card number 6. Now we're going to go on to card number 7, and I want to say that this is one of my favorite cards that I created with this batch too. So basically my plan is to create a background with, or a card front base with the cardstock, and then I had cut out a bunch of hearts from pattern paper, and I used the nested die, so they're in different sizes, and then I'm just going to lay them and create a frame around the center of the cardstock. My goal is to cover up that that paper, and then I am leaving one of those hearts, as you can see, that floral blue one, and that's going to be my main heart. It's going to go in the center along with the sentiment. So I'm just moving them around, making sure that I am not putting the same pattern close together. And then I'm going to go and finish all of this. I will be trimming some of the hearts, hoping that I can use some of the leftovers just to fill in the gaps. My goal is so that you won't see any of that cardstock on the outside edge of the paper. And then I am going to use a card base where I'm going to put this particular cardstock, center it, and then call it good. I will be adding some dots in 3 different places and then use that as a visual triangle. But I really love how the heart frame just caused it for your eye to just go straight into the center, and I love that there's that one heart. I did add that with some fun foam as well. Okay, so now we're going to go on card number 8, and this is another one that I did fail to completely film the whole thing. So I wanted to have a one-dimensional card but have a two-dimensional look. So I'm going to put this heart and stamp it in the center, and then I had stamped it on a masking paper and put the masking paper on over that specific stamping, and then I stamped it on the top, and then another one on the left, I mean on the bottom, sorry, and then I pulled out that the masking tape to reveal that the center heart is the one that's on top of the other hearts. And then I use my watercolor to add some warm colors to that heart. But then I wasn't so, like I felt like it wasn't finished. So I used the negative space of the masking tape or masking paper that I used and put that around that center heart, and then added some glimmer paste over it. That way it was shimmery. And then I was looking at the hearts on the sides, and it felt like they were kind of just blah because they were white. And so I used some more watercolor and used some beige color to add some color to that. And then I'm finishing it off with a Hello word die, again from Simon Says Stamp Wood, using green cardstock. And then I'm adding some green dots to the sides of the heart to finish it off. And now we go on card number 9. And this time around, I really like the circle, the lines that's created in the center of the heart, but I'm kind of, I don't want to do hearts anymore. So I just stamped part of it, focusing on the center of the circle, and then I'm going to cut them in circles. My goal is to cut a bunch of them using the scrap papers that I have left, and then I am going to use those circles as the accent to my page. It's kind of like a wheel, and I like the design of that. I am using a nested die that I had purchased at Amazon, and if I remember, I will put a description in the, I will put a link in the description box below. So I'm doing 5 here because I felt like 5 is a good number, and I'm going to ink the edges of those just because I want them to stand out against my white cardstock base. And at first, I wanted to just lay them out like this, and they're fine, but I am noticing that my background was just a little too stark white for my liking, and they needed something else. So I'm going to move these around and just kind of think what I can do with it. But then I'm going to decide that I will decorate the background just a little bit. So now, before I do the background, I'm going to cut this strip for my sentiment because I want to know where it's going to be placed. And then after that, I decide I'm going to move everything around, and then I'm going to pull my stencil because I really want that something in that background. And instead of doing the glimmer paste, because that's going to take longer, I'm just deciding to go with some distress ink and my blending brush, and then I'm just going to add the dots through that. And I really love this, how easy it is to create the dots. It looks like there is a pattern paper on the background, but it's really just my inking. And if I had planned this a little bit earlier, like beforehand, I would have put my mixed media paper, or the panel that I use for mixed media, so that it will, excuse me, so that it won't have any of that inking on my surface. But I was doing it kind of last minute, and it's okay. I can just clean that off. I like that so much better than just having the stark white background in the back. So I'm going to add the sentiment with some fun foam, and just trying to make sure that I put that straight, somewhat straight. And then I'm going to add finishing touches, which is just a green paint in the center of those kind of circle wheels, and that will be card number 9. So we go on to card number 10, and this is kind of my interactive card in this batch. So my plan is to do kind of a peekaboo type of card. So I'm going to cut this blue paper, and I use the stencil and the glimmer paste again with this one. Although you can't quite see the pink, you can still see the shimmer because it's a dark cardstock, so you can't really see it. So I am going to cut that just a little bit smaller than my card base. My card base will be white here. And then I am going to put that in the center. Now I'm not going to adhere it just yet because my goal is to just cut a heart frame through the blue paper as well as the card, but I'm not going to adhere it yet because I want to add a center heart in between or in that blue piece in between the blue and the white, but I want it to be kind of hanging with a string, and I, I need the blue paper to adhere the string behind it before I adhere the whole thing to the white cardstock. I hope that's making sense. So I'm just adding some washi tape, and I'm going to add the second to the smallest heart. We're going to put that there, and then I'm going to use the small heart and cut out two pieces of that from that dotted paper. That way I can sandwich the string between the two papers, and so you can kind of flip that heart and it will, it will flip back and forth. So that's the goal. So I'm going to put the heart kind of in the top center of my layout there, or my card, and put some washi on there. Same goes with the small heart. I'm going to put that on the dotted paper and then put washi on there so it doesn't move. Just trying to make sure that it's centered because, or it's not like, wonky or anything, because that's going to be the frame for my card. And here I'm going to put the heart, and then I'm going to run that through. I will have my sentiment, best human ever. As you can see, there's that pink string that is in through the smaller heart, and then I place that in between the blue and the white background, and then I also added some dots of green paint so that it will emphasize that heart frame. And these are my close-ups of the cards that I finished, all 10 of them. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know in the description box below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.